One of my greatest fears is the fear of heights. So what was I even thinking? What was going through my mind when I told my family that I wanted to climb the Sydney Harbour Bridge for my birthday? So there I was, all suited up and ready to climb. And then the tour guide said, "Is anyone scared?" Well, immediately I put my hand up. Little did I know that this meant that my family were going to go right behind the tour guide for the whole entire trip. So as we edged step by step across the bridge, I was petrified. At times, I was actually frozen by fear. And I prayed silently, and sometimes not quite so silently, that we would make it and that God would keep us safe all the way to the other side. At times, I actually wanted to give up and to go back, but what was the point? I'd still have to go back past the scary part, and I'd also miss the beautiful view of what could be amazing and spectacular. So did you know that something amazing happened for God's people in the land of Egypt? The Israelites had been slaves for a long time, and their lives were hard. In fact, they were very hard and quite unfair. God had chosen Moses to lead his people to a new and better life. Moses went to Pharaoh the king and said, "God says, let my people go." But Pharaoh said no. Moses warned him that if he did not let his people go, then there would be consequences, and quite big consequences. It took Pharaoh a long time to change his mind, but after God sent 10 plagues to Egypt, Pharaoh finally let God's people go. They were now free from Egypt after over 400 years of slavery. So they packed up and followed Moses through a massive desert. In the daytime, they followed a huge cloud which gave them shade, and at night, they followed a pillar of flame which kept them warm. Meanwhile, back in Egypt, the Pharaoh and his officials were thinking about how all of the Israelites had left, and they were starting to have second thoughts. They wondered who was going to do all of the work since the slaves have now left Egypt. So Pharaoh changed his mind, and he decided to go and chase after the Israelites and make them come back. He gathered up his huge army and set across the desert to bring the Israelites back. But God had warned Moses that the army was coming. But how could they escape? It seemed hopeless because they were pinned between this massive desert on one side and an enormous sea ahead of them. The people complained to Moses saying, "Why? Why did you lead us out of Egypt into this desert to die? We would have been better off back there staying in Egypt." But as it says in Exodus 14 verses 13 to 14, Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. These Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you only need to be still." The Israelites needed to trust God to protect them. Not long after that, amazing things began to happen right before their eyes. The people had thought that they were trapped because of this water, but they were about to see how powerful God is and that He can do anything. At the banks of the Red Sea, God told Moses to raise his arms, and when he did, something totally amazing happened.
There is only one God, and He is here with us.
God is faithful and always keeps his promises. The Egyptians could never have won because God is more powerful than anything. He was guiding them and protecting them. God rescued his people when they were in danger because he cared about them. And that same God protects and cares about you and I. The parting of the Red Sea is important because it gives us a picture of Jesus' act of salvation. Like the Israelites who were slaves in Egypt, we are slaves to sin. We have no hope in saving ourselves, which is why God did something amazing to set us free from the slavery of sin. God sent his son Jesus to earth as part of his plan. Jesus willingly died on a cross and paid the price for our sin, taking the punishment that we deserve. He died but rose again to life on the third day after his burial. Because of what Jesus did, anyone who puts their trust in him will be saved. And you too can experience God doing amazing things in your life, just as he has done in mine. Are you facing a Red Sea moment in your life right now? Just like the Israelites, sometimes you may feel hopeless and think that things are impossible. We may find ourselves in places where it seems like there is no solution, no answer, and no way out. But as our theme for this year says, with God, all things are possible. We need to put our trust in him to protect and to guide us. We are not defeated because he is amazing and he loves us. He is powerful and he keeps his promises. So turn to him and he will make a way for you right through your Red Sea moment.